question from Donnie, who's asking me about sort of a work-life and jiu-jitsu balance. So he asks, how do you balance life and jiu-jitsu? Any tips for sticking with it and keeping work and life issues from stopping you throughout the years from training? So, brother, thank you for the question. And Donnie, I'm going to assume that the reason you asked me this question is because you think that I have this nice smooth, you hear that, smooth balance going on in my life. And if I told you that I had like everything smooth and balanced out, I would be lying to you. And Jess would vouch for me. She would tell you that I would be lying if I was telling you that, because I'm a very unbalanced person. And I think that honestly, being unbalanced has been more beneficial than trying to be balanced for balanced's sake. I feel like that a lot of times people sort of arbitrarily try to be balanced and give everything its nice, neat place, but really I don't think it's the best way to be. Now I could change my mind later and you may disagree with me, but as of right now, this is what I believe. Because when I think about anything that I've done that's worthwhile, we'll get to that in a second, and even people that I know that are successful, when I think about the way that I did things and I think about the way they did things, there's these moments of life becoming very unbalanced. So when we're talking about, and here's an idea to chew on real quick, Donnie. When we talk about this idea of like balancing, to me, I think of the sort of that balancing act of life as simply balancing, right? So imagine here that, again, I've got pretty good balance, so I can sit there, I've got my foot up, my knee almost up to my chest right now, right? And I'm not swaying at all, I've got good balance. But let's imagine that I'm on a beam and I'm balancing right here, right? Life to me does this thing. It's this constant sway side to side. So let's say that, for instance, with me, I'll give you examples with me. I'm getting ready for a competition. I start to sway towards the competition. My training goes up, my dieting goes up, my mind is focused on this thing. I'm all wrapped up in this thing as I'm getting ready. A lot of other areas of my life suffer for a period of time, right? Because I have to do this because I've got to go 100% in. I've got to do it all the way because I don't want to be average at anything. And again, when I think of just even, average, balance, whatever, I think of just average. I don't want to be average at anything. I am average at some stuff, but I don't want to be, so I'm going to work hard not to be. So I dive into it 100%. And my jiu-jitsu is as good as it is because I went 100%. Now, once the competition's over, let's say I got to do some work projects with Joe. We have projects going on all the time. Well, boom, now I start to sway in this direction. Now I'm training a little bit less, focused on the projects that we're doing for work more. And then let's say that I go on vacation. Jess and I go on vacation, great. Well, now I'm not working as much, I'm not training as much. Jess and I are eating whatever foods we want to eat, and I'm giving her a lot of attention while we're on this vacation so I can spend time with her. Because again, I'm a busy guy and she's busy, and so we do things. And again, it's nice to have that time with her for that week or two that we're on vacation. And so again, that balance there, right? It really depends on what's going on, what life's calling of me. Because life is not static, it's dynamic. And there's different things that are going to require different situations for you. And life is going to call upon you to do certain things at certain times, right? Let's say that you had a child. You're going to tell your wife or your girlfriend or whatever that you're not going to spend time with her because I've been here for 3 hours with this kid and I've got to balance everything out, right? No, of course not. You're going to be with the kid, right? And again, sometimes with work, you're just going to have to get it done, and so your training will suffer. And then there's going to be times where you're going to have to train more, and so other things suffer. It's just the way that it is. And so to me, the idea of balance, I'm not a balanced person. I'm an unbalanced person, and I think it's been more beneficial to me than it's not been because it's allowed me to accomplish things. Because pretty much anything that I've accomplished that I feel like is worthwhile has happened when I've tilted in that direction for a little bit to really get it done and do a good job of it. Now, the other thing is you were talking about, besides the balance, how do you keep training throughout the years? It's very simple, bro. Priorities. You just have to identify what it is you want, and then it has to be front and center the whole time. And if something does not match up with the priorities that you have, then you either need to let it go or you need to find a way to work around it. It's as simple as that. Like with like work and life, like I have always, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that for me, from the very beginning when I was training, I always sort of made sure I could train because of work. And if their schedules did not work, I would change jobs. I mean, one of my students just recently, he's an engineer, and he just changed one of his jobs because he couldn't train, right? He was like, I want to train. It's a priority of mine. I want to be good at this stuff. So I'm changing jobs. And so again, I don't know if you guys can hear that because the mic might cut it down, but I hate motorcycles. They're so loud, especially the loud ones. It's so loud. Anyway, I know some of you guys might like motorcycles that don't. But anyway, that's the idea. You got to make it a priority, bro. It just has to be something in front and center. And so, again, once you get your priorities lined up and you know what you want, your life then becomes this balancing act to these different priorities at different times when you've got to sway towards them to do a good job with them. So that's the idea. That's the idea that I would share with you. It's what I've done. Again, take it or leave it, but hopefully it's helpful to you, Donnie. Hopefully it's helpful to some of you guys that are out there that maybe have a similar question. And I'll talk to you next time.